You can join the Manatee Community Foundation for Spirit of Manatee, the county's celebration of philanthropy, at the Palmetto Marriott Resort and Spa, March 25th at 11:30 a.m. Tickets and information at manateecf.org.
The Tampa Bay Rays are looking for a new home, and they might not be moving too far. Among the sites the team has its eye on, Hillsborough College's Dale Mabry campus in Tampa. I'm Matthew Petty, and coming up on Florida Matters Live and Local, what we know about a potential deal to develop a new baseball complex. If you're a Rays fan, do you like the idea of your team setting down roots in Tampa? Call and let us know, 813-755-6562, or email FloridaMatters@WUSF.org. Also this hour, the Florida State Fair kicks off in a few weeks. Are you a fan of walking the Midway? What keeps you coming back? And St. Petersburg's MLK Day Parade marches on despite funding challenges. We'll talk about the significance of this long-running commemoration of the civil rights icon. All this and your calls coming up on Florida Matters Live and Local. First, these headlines.
Live from NPR News, I'm Lakshmi Singh. President Trump will soon be meeting with Venezuelan opposition leader Maria
Sarasota School Board, which could vote on the resolution Tuesday. The Sarasota School District says there is no change to its policy. It complies with lawful requests from federal agents and, like other districts, does not keep records on students' immigration status. Carrie Sheridan, WUSF 89.7 News.
2 protesters were arrested outside of the Caroline Park Hilton in St. Petersburg on Wednesday. This was during the second day of protests against Customs and Border Protection, which was holding a 2-day recruitment event at the hotel. A police spokesperson said law enforcement was screening drivers entering the hotel parking lot. Only those with business at the hotel were allowed to enter. I'm Craig Kopp, WUSF 89.7 News.
I'm Daylina Miller, multimedia journalist at WUSF. See photo galleries, videos, and so much more on WUSF.org, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Catch me in your community. And say cheese.
Town Hall presents a lecture with CNN chief legal analyst Laura Coates, host of Laura Coates Live. She's had a prominent role in major news moments. It's Monday, February 9th, 10:30 a.m. at the Van Wezel. Tickets at ringlingcollegetownhall.org.
This is Florida Matters, live and local, sponsored by Badawi Law. I'm Matthew Petty.
And Cameron Meisner gets into this one, a long drive deep to right. That baby's gone! Home run and the Rays win it 3-2.
Well, the Tampa Bay Rays have been looking for a new home since walking away from a deal to redevelop Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg. And baseball fans around the Bay may not have to travel too far to see their team in a brand new stadium. Hillsborough College in Tampa is said to be mulling a deal to potentially turn the Dale Mabry campus in Tampa into a mixed-use district with restaurants and retail, including a new stadium for the Rays. And college trustees are meeting Tuesday to discuss something involving the team. For more details, we're joined by Ashley Kreitzer, Tampa Bay Business Journal's editor-at-large. She's been covering the saga of the Rays' quest for new digs. Ashley, thanks for being back on Florida Matters Live and Local.
Thanks for having me.
And you can weigh in too. If you're a baseball fan, are you excited about the idea of the Rays possibly setting down roots across the Bay in Tampa? Maybe you've got some questions about what it would mean for the main campus of Hillsborough College on the North Dale Mabry Highway near the Raymond James Stadium where the Bucks play. You can give us a call, 813-755-6562. You can also send us an email, FloridaMatters@WUSF.org. So, Ashley, the Rays need quite a lot of land to develop a new stadium. How much do they need, and how does Hillsborough College kind of fit the bill in terms of what they're looking for?
So what they are discussing is not just a stadium. On October 7th, the first time the new owner, Patrick Zalupski, met the press and made his first public appearance as owner, he was very clear that he was looking for a property of at least 100 acres. And that is for far more than a new ballpark. I think if you look at the old Tropicana Field redevelopment plans, that site's about 86 acres. I think maybe 15 were for the ballpark. So what they are looking at Hillsborough College, which does have around 100 acres, as you said, on North Dale Mabry near Raymond James Stadium. What they're looking at there is not just a ballpark, it's also a mixed-use entertainment district, similar in nature to what was proposed around Tropicana Field, and also what the Atlanta Braves have at the Battery in Atlanta, which is really in suburban Atlanta in Cobb County.
Right, because the kind of deal to redevelop the Tropicana Field site included things like housing and shops, kind of a place that would be a hub of activity even when there was no baseball happening. So it sounds like the new owners have kind of picked that up and they're running with it, and that's what they want for a stadium, wherever it may land.
Exactly, and that's certainly not a new idea in sports development. I mean, we see it in downtown Tampa with Water Street and everything that Jeff Finnick built there after he bought the team, and that's just the first phase of Water Street that exists right now in downtown Tampa. I mentioned the Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals have a similar setup, and it really seems like teams are now looking at real estate development, ancillary development around their stadiums to be a key source of revenue to break even or get into the black.
Now, in your reporting, Ashley, you note the details of the deal aren't exactly clear. What can you tell us about it?
So what we know is that Hillsborough College is supposedly going to call a meeting. They haven't noticed it yet, but they would need to notice it, I believe, by end of day tomorrow, Friday, a special meeting of their board of trustees to vote on some sort of deal that would be the first turn of the screw, so to speak, for this redevelopment that would make way for the Rays. It's said to be potentially a land swap deal, a conveyance agreement, but it really is just the first step because we still don't know what the county funding is going to look like. We don't know what, if anything, will be involved at a state level. There may be some infrastructure funding associated because the state does control Hillsborough College, but it's still very, very early days for this deal.
And speaking of funding, I mean, that was kind of one of the sticking points about that earlier Rays deal to redevelop Tropicana Field, right? Some folks weren't happy with the idea of local governments pitching in. Is there any sense that, the city of Tampa or other local governments could be on the hook for any part of a potential new stadium?
So this is going to be the sticking point. CEO Ken Babby, who Patrick Zalupski brought down here with him from Jacksonville to run the Rays and really be the front man, he has been very clear that it will be a public-private partnership, that they are going to seek public funds. And this has been the sticking point. As you said, some folks thought that the St. Petersburg, Pinellas County deal was too generous. I mean, the city and the county in that deal were fronting a lot of money. I think their combination together was over $600 million that they were going to put into just the ballpark. And what we haven't seen yet from this ownership group is what they are going to seek from Hillsborough County and the city of Tampa. Because the last time the Rays were working a deal here, I don't think it was anywhere close to the numbers we're hearing floated now, which it's been rumored for months they're going to seek $1 billion
Wow.
in public contribution. Now, we don't know what that looks like. We don't know if it's fully a cash ask, if it is on the back end. Certainly, Commissioner Ken Hagan has some interesting ideas around user fees that are assessed. If you buy a beer or a t-shirt within the new district, you pay a fee on that, and then that services the debt on the stadium. So we don't know what that's going to look like. And like I said, that $1 billion figure, we've been hearing it for months, but so far it is just a rumor.
Yeah. I mean, I got to say, the idea of a user fee tacked on top of the cost of a stadium beer, I mean, they're already pretty expensive, right? It's almost the price of a six-pack for a single beer when you go to a sports game. But anyway, if you're just joining us on Florida Matters Live and Local, we're talking about the potential for the Rays to build a new stadium complex across the bay in Tampa at the site of Hillsborough College, talking with Tampa Bay Business Journal editor-at-large Ashley Kreitzer. And if you've got thoughts about this, maybe you're a Rays fan, what do you think about the idea of your team setting down roots in Tampa? Maybe if you live in St. Pete, are you cranky about the idea of schlepping over to Tampa for home games? If you live near the main Hillsborough College campus, what about the idea of baseball on your doorstep? Does that fill you with joy? Give us an idea. 813-755-6562 or email FloridaMatters@WUSF.org. Ashley, you've talked with the chair of the Hillsborough College Board of Trustees. What's his take on this idea of a ballpark at that campus?
So that conversation you're referencing was from October 7th, was when the first reference to a 100-acre site was made, and we reached out to Hillsborough College, excuse me, and the chair of the trustees, Greg Celestin, said at the time, yes, they have engaged us, and this could potentially be a really good deal for us as well. I think those are the specifics that everyone wants to see, is what in addition to county funding, what does it mean for that college? Are they going to be temporarily displaced? I know there have been discussions of the college perhaps being integrated into the new redevelopment, but it's going to need to go somewhere else while it's being built.
Mm-hmm. Question here from listener Gary. Why isn't Derby Lane in St. Pete considered a prime location for the new Rays stadium? What about that? I mean, I'm not sure about this property, but is that big enough for a start? Like, what do you know about Derby Lane?
I think it is big enough. Technically, I think it is right around 100 acres. I think that the folks who have purchased that, it's under new ownership as of April 2024. And it sounds like what they're looking to do with it, that gaming would remain a central part of it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what the actual buildable acreage of that site is, because a lot of it is right on the water. And that limits sometimes, when you're in a flood zone like that, what you can build. So maybe there's not enough developable acreage there, but location-wise, I think everyone agrees that's a very central location.
Ashley, the idea of a college kind of integrated into a sports complex, I mean, I imagine there probably aren't many other examples of that, right? Because you mentioned, the Battery, the Atlanta Braves site, but that's kind of like retail and shopping and other things, like an educational facility too. Do you know of any other examples of that sort of being built into some professional sports complex in the United States at least?
No, I can't think of any off the top of my head. I think there's some pretty compelling mixed use developments around stadiums where fans can even live in the development and maybe their apartment overlooks the stadium. But as far as a public community college being integrated into it, I can't think of any examples.
Yeah. So let's come back to the money for a moment. And as we talked about before, one of the sticking points in the St. Pete redevelopment plan before they sort of signed off on the deal and then it all went to shreds after Hurricane Milton, how much public money would be involved? You mentioned about $600 million in county and city funds, but what kind of questions should Tampa residents be asking if the Rays were to set down in Tampa, if it's this site or another site?
The question is always, what is the return on the investment for these tax dollars, and what could these tax dollars potentially be spent on that isn't a stadium? I think sometimes the devil is in the details, and a lot of times stadiums, especially in the Tampa Bay area, they're tapping bed tax dollars, which is tourists pay that if they have a hotel room here and they book a room. There's a bed tax, and that goes into coffers, and that kind of money can't be used for schools or libraries or anything like that. So it's looking at the funding streams, what funding streams are going to be tapped for this and what could it potentially be used for. And then it's being very turning a very critical thinking lens toward the return on the investment, because there's a lot of debate over economic impact numbers that any sports event or sports venue, they all have pretty audacious numbers about the economic impact they produce. And it's very, very difficult to prove. I mean, if you look at some of the economic impact numbers from, say, when the Super Bowl is in Tampa, if I get gas as a resident during that weekend, it's going to be counted as economic impact, even though it has nothing to do. So it's very nebulous and very difficult to quantify.
Yeah, I'm sure some groups will say, look, this is what you get, but others will say, well, those numbers, as you say, are a bit nebulous and hard to kind of quantify. All right, so just before we close out here, Ashley, a special meeting is potentially going to happen on Tuesday, although, as you pointed out, they need to kind of notify it 3 days in advance. So by tomorrow, what do we know about that meeting?
So it sounds like that meeting is going to be the first step, and it's not clear if Governor Ron DeSantis will be at that meeting. The new ownership of the Rays, both Patrick Zalupski and some of the other investors in his group have longstanding ties to Governor DeSantis, who has long opposed any sort of public subsidy for professional sports. I think the workaround here is that if there is state funding in this deal, it may be used for infrastructure. It may be tied to the relocation of the school. It wouldn't necessarily be given directly to the Rays. So it will be interesting to see what the state piece of this looks like and if we get a preview of that on Tuesday.
Ashley Kreitzer, Editor-at-Large for the Tampa Bay Business Journal, thank you so much for your insights.
Thanks for having me.
And WUSF will be following that special meeting of Hillsborough College Board of Trustees next week. And if you've got more thoughts on the future site of the Rays, wherever it may be, send us an email, FloridaMatters@WUSF.org. Well, coming up next, Plant City resident Sharon Moody talks about her love for her community and how she's made the iconic Strawberry Festival more welcoming for everyone. That conversation when Florida Matters Live and Local continues. Stay with us.
Pregnant Floridians are some of the most vulnerable to extreme heat, much like we experienced this past summer.
You kind of learn to adapt and just accommodate and turn up the AC in the house.
I'm Jessica Mazzaros, and I cover climate change for WUSF. That means flooding, hurricanes, and of course, the heat.
Funding for WUSF comes from listeners like you, and also Rocky Mountaineer, offering luxury rail journeys through Canada's Rocky Mountains. Guests travel onboard glass dome trains with scenic views and onboard service along the way. More information is available at rockymountaineer.com.
Still holding on to a car you don't drive anymore? Give it new purpose this season. Donate your car, truck, or boat to WUSF and help keep trustworthy local journalism strong. It's easy, and it may mean a tax deduction. Call 866-WUSF-CAR or visit WUSF.org.
Welcome back to Florida Matters Live and Local. I'm Matthew Petty. We're broadcasting from the doctors Lorraine Rubis and Neil Frankel studio at WSF in Tampa. Well, Sharon Moody loves her community. She spent decades volunteering for charitable groups in her hometown of Plant City. She founded the Plant City Black Heritage Foundation more than 20 years ago, and she pushed to make the city's iconic Strawberry Festival more inclusive. Sharon Moody, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so Plant City is obviously famous for its annual Strawberry Festival. You were raised in Plant City.
Yes, born and raised
Yeah.
in Plant City, yes.
What do you think Plant City should be renowned for? Is it the Strawberry Festival or something else?
It's a great community. You know everyone. You get along with everyone. Everyone knows me. So I get that respect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people knows me, so I get a good vibe from that.
Now, a lot of the reason you are such a well-known figure in the community is you volunteer a lot, right? You've volunteered and worked for organizations like Kiwanis, YMCA, youth sports leagues. You know, some folks hold back a little bit from volunteering. What made you want to get involved?
My kids. When I started out with the youth football, my daughters cheered with the youth football, and it just went on from there. I just kept myself busy. I found myself going through a divorce, and instead of me just sitting on the couch moping, I just started volunteering my time in the community, giving back, and it just made me feel good to help someone else that needed help.
Let me go back to your childhood, if I could. Now, you faced segregation growing up. Did that impact the way you approach life?
Well, yes, we went through the segregation with the schools, and we integrated back in 1969. But I didn't have a problem because I treat people the way I want to be treated. So I don't have a problem. I can get along with anyone.
Yeah. But, I mean, some of those issues that you were facing as a school kid, you were still grappling with those later on, right? Because when it came to the Strawberry Festival, for example, you realized that there was some inequity there, right? Some opportunities that weren't being afforded to black girls in the ways that the other folks had those opportunities.
Yes. You know, back in the day, they wouldn't let blacks, queens, be in the Strawberry Festival parade. And I just advocated for that situation to change. So what happened was we had a meeting at a recreation center, and we brought people in together to try to make that change, which it happened, where we could let our girls be in the Strawberry Festival parade.
Yeah.
But as the MLK parade, that happened because when this came up about the girls couldn't be in the parade, and that's when they said, well, we can start our own parade with the MLK parade.
And this is the Miss Junior Black Plant City, and that's what you started in 1989?
That's correct.
So it's like a competition, right? Like sort of a parallel competition?
Yes, a competition between the girls, which, you know, with talent, you know, pose, beauty. It was awesome for the girls to see them. They want me to bring it back, but, you know, I told them I would help them bring it back, you know, but I got up in age now, so
a lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of work, and let some of the younger people come in and take over.
What I found interesting, though, is like at a certain point, it changed from the Miss Junior Black Plant City to just Miss Junior Plant City, right?
Because we integrated with everyone. We didn't just say black. If anyone that was in the community that want to take part, well, that's the reason why we took it out.
So that sort of shows you the impact of this competition, right? You were able to change things within the city through that.
Yes. We had Hispanics, blacks, and whites that participated in the Miss Plant City, Junior Miss Plant City.
Talk to me about the Plant City Black Heritage Celebration. This was something you founded back in 2003, and this was also to make events in the city more inclusive. How did people respond when you started the celebration?
It started out slow, but each year it got bigger. So now that we have the gala on a Friday night, we almost bring 400 to 500 people to the gala at the Trinket Center at Hillsborough Community College. So you can see how it have grown, and, you know, you got to put the work in to get, you know, the results, and which now it's a diverse group. We have black, white, Hispanic, and all that attends this gala. And we honor just not blacks, we honor other people as well.
So, I mean, did you feel like that has also kind of changed the fabric of the city at all?
Yes. We want it to be more inclusive, not to leave someone out just because it's a Black organization that's giving the event, but we want to include everyone because everyone in this, in the community does something good for the community, whether you're Black, white, yellow, green, or whatever. So that's my connection to people. I try to include everyone.
I want to just go back to something. I mean, my colleague Skylar Braun did some reporting on the Strawberry Festival in Plant City. My understanding is there's still no Black woman has won the crown there, right?
It's never been one that won the crown. It came the first made, but never won it.
Is that something you want to see?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you think about Plant City as a kid growing up, how much has it changed for you?
It's changed a lot. We used to couldn't do certain things in the city where, the water fountains was there would say Black only or white only. That have gone away, have changed. You got people that's up in management in different companies or whatever. That's changed. So we've come a long ways, but we still have a long ways to go.
Yeah. You seem pretty kind of, equal about it, though. I mean, was there ever a point at which you're like, I got to get out of here? I got to leave Plant City?
Well, sometimes you feel that way, but, you can't keep moving because every place you move going to be the same situation. You just need to work on it.
So your philosophy is make the place I'm in better rather than try and find greener pastures elsewhere?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I read that your mom is your hero. How did she influence your life?
My mom was my hero because we did everything together. I learned how to cook from my mom. My mom used to work in the fields and cook for people that worked in the field, and I used to go with her. And my mom was my best friend.
Yeah? What did she teach you to cook?
All kind of soul food.
Yeah? Do you have a favorite now?
Well, I cook. They told me I cook my yellow rice, my greens, string beans, different things of that nature, all types of soul food. Yes.
Yeah. In the last few seconds we have here, what's one thing people should know about Plant City before they visit, or if they want to move there, what should they know?
It's a great community. It's a friendly community. People are very friendly. You get along with everyone. If they want to come, we're the strawberry capital of the world. So we get that from all our work. I volunteer there the whole 9 days when it's there.
Yeah.
So just come out and see us friendly faces, and I just love my town.
Well, that interview with Plant City community advocate Sharon Moody was recorded and aired last October. You can check out the Plant City Strawberry Festival when it opens on February 26th. Coming up next, the Florida State Fair kicks off in 3 weeks. What do you love about the State Fair? Is it the range of fried foods, quirky exhibits, or a chance to revel in nostalgia? Call and let us know, 813-755-6562, or email FloridaMatters@WUSF.org. Florida Matters Live and Local continues in a moment.
On the next Florida Roundup, best-selling author and Floridian Brad Meltzer. He's an executive producer of a PBS Kids show, writes thrillers and children's books, including one that was banned by a Florida school district. Send us your questions by emailing radio@thefloridaroundup.org. I'm Tom Hudson. Join us Friday noon until 1.
WUSF depends on contributions from people like you. And Badawi Law, offering legal services in personal injury, immigration, and auto accidents, with offices in Tampa, Florida. Office information and practice details at badawilaw.com, or learn more on Instagram at Badawi Law. Sarasota Concert Association presents Royal Philharmonic with the program featuring Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 1 and the Sibelius Symphony No. 2. January 19th at the Van Wezel. Tickets at scasarasota.org.
Unsigned artists, enter the 11th annual Tiny Desk Contest for the opportunity to play a tiny desk and go on tour with NPR Music. Learn more at npr.org/Tiny Desk Contest.
This is Florida Matters Live and Local. I'm Matthew Petty. Well, can you hear the spinning of the Ferris wheel, smell the fried food, and sense the tilt-a-whirl nausea? If you don't have vertigo, you're just excited that the State Fair is coming up next month. Grab a corn dog and celebrate America's 250th birthday at the Florida State Fairgrounds. 12 days of food, rides, animals, and Americana-inspired fireworks. Well, joining us to discuss all the fun is CEO and Executive Director Cheryl Flood. Cheryl, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
So I recently read that the Florida State Fair kicks off the fair season in America. Is there added pressure to kind of set the tone?
There is. We are the first state fair that kicks off the first of the year. We are celebrating America 250 this year, so we're so excited. Everything related to activity of the fair will be red, white, and blue.
Mm-hmm.
We will be America's Sunniest Celebration, which is our theme this year, and you'll see a lot of entertainment, food, rides, everything Americana. So we're excited to celebrate America with our community.
Is it different from previous years? Like, do you normally have that kind of Americana theme, or is it just cranking it up to 11?
It is cranking it up. It's going to be spectacular. It'll be beautiful. We'll be decorated with red, white, and blue all across the grounds.
Do you find there are people who kind of travel from state fair to state fair? Are there like kind of fair buffs who go from like here to say Nebraska and elsewhere and sort of sample everything that the different states have to offer fair-wise?
Yeah, the unique thing about the state fair, us being the first of the year, there's people that come from all across the country. There's 2 trade shows that go on during our fair related to the fair industry. So we have fair managers and fair staff and tourists from all over the country to see what's new and unique and what are the trends that are going on around state fairs across the country.
Is it kind of like a subset of the theme park industry? Like, what is the fairground industry exactly?
So every state has a state fair. So there's county fairs and there's state fairs, and we're all about celebrating community, and there's nostalgic to it. So kind of Americana in general. So this year's theme certainly lends into the Americana and the Florida being the America's Sunniest Celebration. So we're so excited about offering that to the state.
And this is the state fair, so how is it different from county fairs or festivals that you might see at like churches or schools, kind of more local level stuff?
Sure. So there's only one state fair. We are in Tampa. We've been here for 122 years. So there are county fairs all across the state as well. But we are the state fair. So we're unique. We're designated by statute by the Florida legislature. So we are responsible for hosting that annual state fair in February.
And what is unique about this fair to Florida and only Florida? Like, I know, some fairs you read about things that have like, butter sculptures and the like. Like, what makes this a something you would only find in Florida?
Agriculture is the part of our main mission of the state fair, and Florida agriculture, we do a good job of promoting that at the state fair. We have a large emphasis on youth in agriculture. They are our future leaders. We continue to invest in them. And I would just tell you that, the state fair in Florida has such a long history with 122 years, always being right here in Tampa, starting with Gasparilla being downtown and then moving out to our current location. And with our long history, I would just tell you that we are kind of this showcase state fair where people come and check us out earlier in the year.
So you're saying that the Gasparilla link, like it was connected to the state fair originally?
Early in the years, in the early 1900s, it was part of the Gasparilla Festival. So it was really a celebration downtown where University of Tampa sits today. And many years ago, the legislature moved us to I-4 and 301 right there on 75. So it's prime property. We just outgrown the space, so we've got our own facility. We're celebrating 50 years on that property next year.
Yeah, Gasparilla has a kind of a different vibe to it too. So I imagine the two things might have kind of had to separate at some point anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Well, who knows? We might see some pirates at the Florida State Fair. This being Tampa. All right. If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Cheryl Flood, the CEO of the Florida State Fair. Tell us what you love about it. What's your go-to snack when you get there? The number is 813-755-6562. You can also email us your thoughts on the State Fair at FloridaMatters at WUSF.org. Okay, so I've heard about Cracker Country. Can you tell me what that is? What's that about?
Yeah, so Cracker Country is our living history museum here at the State Fairgrounds. We host over 30,000 kids annually through school trips, and we want to expose them to what rural Florida used to be like in the early, 1870s to 1912 time frame. So we have an old historical museum there. And we have it open during the fair. This year we'll be celebrating 250 with that time frame as well. So a lot of entertainment, a lot of bluegrass bands, a lot of demonstrators will be out with their wares, and it's just a really cool, quiet place to go and enjoy yourself under the oaks during the state fair. So we encourage folks to come check that out as well.
How long have you been with the state fair for?
So this is my 10th year. This is my 10th state fair. So really excited about it. I grew up showing cattle at the Florida State Fair as a kid. So I've got this long memory of great memories that having been there. So it's kind of exciting to be at the helm and really provide that opportunity also to the youth today.
Okay, so your family was into farming?
Yes, so my family's from the cattle business. Still to this day, we're in the commercial cattle business. So it's near and dear to me, and it's something that I'm very passionate about.
Yeah, I imagine there must be, I mean, you must have seen a lot of change like in the cattle business and just kind of like thinking about showcasing the agriculture of Florida. Like there's so much pressure on land now, right? Like you see citrus fields and farmland kind of getting converted into these developments and subdivisions. Like that must feel a certain way for you.
It does. And, you know, the families as a whole are getting farther and farther away from the family farm. So it puts state fairs and county fairs in the spot to really make sure that they're showcasing and promoting Florida agriculture as a whole, because it plays such an important part of our economy in the state. You know, people think of Mickey Mouse and, you know, destinations like that, but Florida agriculture is such a huge part of Florida's history, as well as, you know, such an economic impact till to this day. And it provides food for our families every single day, something we never want to take for granted.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of food, Cheryl, food eating contests are a big part of state fairs in general. What does the Florida State Fair have to offer in the way of eating competitions?
Yes, every day at 3 p.m., on the stage, we certainly offer different types of food, donut eating contests, hot dog eating contests, all different types of food eating contests. Check our FloridaStateFair.com. You can enter there to participate, and the crowd shows up because it's always a fun opportunity, and people enjoy being a part of it.
So come one, come all kind of thing, or
are
there criteria? Like, do you have to qualify?
No, you just sign up, and we'll make sure you're on the stage.
Okay. If you're interested in chatting with us about your experiences of State Fair, maybe you've got a favorite go-to snack or just a memory of the State Fair that you want to share, give us a call, 813-755-6562. You can also email FloridaMatters@WUSF.org. So, I mean, thinking about, you know, how Florida sort of fits into this celebration of America at 250, why would you say people should celebrate America's birthday at the State Fair? What's in it for them?
You know what's so exciting this year? So we have developed a 250th hologram in the Florida Agricultural Hall of Fame building. So you can come and actually witness what Florida's part is in celebrating America 250. Also, we are unveiling the world's largest transportable observation wheel. It's going to be 230 feet tall. It's going to ride 1,600 passengers per hour.
This is like a Ferris wheel.
It's one of the largest Ferris wheels in the world, and it will debut at the Florida State Fair this year. So we're so excited about that opportunity. One additional thing, we're getting the traveling mobile exhibit, history museum exhibit from the administration that'll be debuted at the Florida State Fair. So we have all kinds. We're doing a drone show on America 250 the last weekend. So we've got tons of themed events related to America 250, and we want people to come out, celebrate. It is America's birthday. We are a lot of fun, so make sure you come out and really enjoy your time and commemorate to the 250th anniversary of America.
Have you had drones at the fair before?
This is our first time having the drone show at the Florida State Fair. And we also have fireworks on the weekends, so there'll be so many. You will see red, white, and blue everywhere you are out on the grounds, and we're so excited. And again, we want to be a part of that celebration. And you know, it also honors all the men and women that sacrifice for our country. So we're doing a lot of promotions related to veterans and military, and you can check that on our website from FloridaStateFair.com. The promotions, there's tons of ways to save. So we're making sure that we're honoring them as well as part of that celebration.
As somebody who sort of came through state fairs as a kid showing cattle, is that still your favorite part of it? Like, do you like to just kind of wander through the animal exhibit hall and sort of revel in the nostalgia of it?
I do. I'm a very busy lady during the state fair, but what I can tell you is investing in the youth, which is our future and our leaders in our communities, is what state fairs are about. And that's something that, when the days get long at the state fair and you need a pick-me-up, when you go and you see those kids show those animals that they've worked with all year long, and they go in that arena and they got a big smile on their face and that hard work pays off, that's exciting to me. So that is a very exciting and thrilling part of my job.
Do you see kids still interested in agriculture? Like, is this sort of where they develop that interest in farming?
It is. It's where, I grew up in an agriculture family, of course, and it's a passion I've shared. But there's a lot of kids today that don't have that exposure. And the Florida State Fair and opportunities like that is what exposes that to where their food comes from. And it sparks them to continue to want to be engaged with that.
Are there some good days or days where it's better if you've got kids to take them, or if you're an adult and you want to have a wander around? Like, what are the different options there?
Yeah, so we've got every day of the fair has promotional days. So if you'll go on our website, floridastatefair.com, you'll see them. On opening day, which is our Heroes Day, any law enforcement, first responders, active and retired military, and we also added teachers into that this year, medical personnel.
So you get a discount?
You get a free admission.
Oh, wow.
On opening day.
What's the normal cost of admission for an adult?
So $11.
Okay.
Yep. So during the week and then $16 on the weekend. So if you go the first day and you're paid admission, you get to come back another day during the state fair as well. So, but you can go on our website. We're having a sensory-friendly day as well for exceptional citizens, free admission. So that way, when they come on into the fairgrounds, it's more of a quieter environment, so they can come out and enjoy themselves as well.
That'd be quite tough to make your fair quiet. Like, how do you do that?
It is. So we ask the concessionaires to turn down the lights. We don't have too loud of sounds, and just make it more quieter and a moment for families to enjoy.
Are there some? Is there a ride that you've found is the most popular over your years running the state fair?
I think the Ferris wheel is just, especially this year with America 250 Ferris wheel, that will be the highlight. It'll be very exciting. The super slide is always fun for the kids and fun houses and things like that. But I will say the America 250 wheel is going to knock it out of the park this year for being the most popular ride.
And aside from that, and obviously the drones, are there any other brand new attractions you've got this year?
Yeah, so we've got a ton of new entertainment. We've got motorcycle shows, we've got demolition derby, we've got a draft horse show, we've got just all types of, we've got just probably the largest collection of entertainment, and that is free with admission at the state fair. So go on our website and check it out. You can plan your day on our website, a calendar, and you can actually plan your day at the state fair. We encourage people to buy their tickets and parking in advance, so that way they can plan their day ahead of time and get on and off property with ease.
And, obviously the fairgrounds are kind of like the showcase, but, the fair, I should say, is the showcase, but you've got other stuff going on at the fairgrounds throughout the year, right? So what do you have happening at the moment?
Yeah, right now we are hosting the Florida RV Super Show, which is the largest RV show in the country. Now through Sunday, you can come out to the fairgrounds and see any type of RV show, out there on property. So we've got tons of opportunity for purchasing. And if you're in the business for looking for an RV or checking things out, come visit the fairgrounds. We've got lots and lots of RVs on property right now and thousands of people, so it's a lot of fun.
All right, so I guess just some sort of basics before we close out here. When does the fair start and end? And if people haven't been to it before, how do they get there? Where is it?
Yeah, so Thursday, February 5th, we end on President's Day, February 16th, which is a Monday. And we are located at I-4 and 301 and I-75. So we're centrally located close to Hard Rock, across the street, and Live Nation also on property. So just plan ahead of time. There's a frequently asked question on our website, floridastatefair.com. We just ask you to plan ahead. Wear comfortable shoes. We're a large facility, so you're going to have a long day, but it's going to be so many memories made and develop a lot of fun with family.
Yeah, probably bring some water and a sun hat too would be a good idea.
Absolutely.
Cheryl Flood is the Executive Director and CEO of the Florida State Fair. Thank you so much for joining us. And coming up next, the St. Pete MLK Day Parade received their funding and is under new management this year. Find out more about the parade next when Florida Matters Live and Local continues. Stay with us.
I'm Indira Lakshmanan. The American dream has long conjured up visions of marriage, kids, and the house in the suburbs. But relationship coach Allison Raskin says it doesn't always work out that way.
This idea that if you just couple up, then you can afford to live this American dream, it's a falsity.
The future of modern marriage, that's next time on Here and Now.
Join us this afternoon from 1 to 3 on WUSF 89.7.
Hi, I'm Mark Schreiner, WUSF's Assistant News Director. I've been doing this job for a long time because I love it. I love telling you about what's going on around the Tampa Bay area, why it's important to you, and what you can expect to happen next. Telling the news is never boring, for better or worse, and I'm glad I get to do it with this group of journalists and for such a great audience. Thanks for listening.
AARP Florida is on the lookout for volunteers ready to leverage their lifetime of experience to make a difference. Opportunities are available for various interests and experience levels. Details at aarp.org/FLvolunteer. Bach Tower Gardens hosts Starry Starry Night, celebrating science and art. Experience the night sky with space-themed presentations, hands-on activities, and connect with a NASA ambassador. January 24th. Details at bachtowergardens.org.
Welcome back to Florida Matters Live and Local. I'm Matthew Petty. The St. Petersburg Martin Luther King Jr. Parade is the longest-running MLK parade in the country. It's happening, but only after a bit of controversy over spending and a change in organisers. City Council member Gina Driscoll had rallied for money for the parade in the past, but last year, parade organisers asked for more money, and she asked if the city's annual investment could be better spent on something else.
If it was for the same, if we were just holding the same amount of funding to support the parade for next year, I would have no problem with that. But at a time when we haven't even fully funded the fire department yet for FY26, we have to look at every other thing. And yes, it is our responsibility to ask questions when something is increased.
St. Pete City Council member Gina Driscoll talking last year there. But ultimately, the City Council approved spending almost $700,000 over 3 years. Meanwhile, the city has hired another group to take over the parade's management. The Tampa Bay Collard Green Festival is now running the show. And with us to talk more about it is Samantha Harris. She's the president and co-founder of the Tampa Bay Collard Green Festival. Samantha, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
So, I mean, this is kind of a big deal, right? It's a long-running parade. Does it feel like a lot of responsibility for you to pull this off?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how else to say that. But thankfully, with the previous experience with this being the city's parade, you know, they have a remarkable team, that has worked with us since that meeting, to be exact. We have met at least once a week, definitely every other week. And I mean, as a collective, city departments, fire, rescue, stormwater, parks and recs, to put this together.
Yeah, okay, because there's obviously going to be some similarities and some differences between organizing a festival where people come to you and a parade where you're mobile.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's the biggest challenge been for you?
The biggest challenge, honestly, well, let's go back to that city meeting.
Sure.
You know, the date of that meeting, I believe, was sometime in August. So we had from August until Monday, this upcoming Monday, to put this production on.
Wow, less than a year.
Absolutely. It was warp speed. It was a lot of OJT going on. And I just wanted...
OJT?
OJT, yeah, on the job training.
Okay. Right.
Yes, you had to learn and you had to learn fast. But I do, if you don't mind, could we revisit a point that was made in this broadcast? Did I hear you say that there was an ask for an increase in funding for the parade? Is that what I heard?
Yes.
Okay. The way that I understand, I just want to be clear. When we applied for the RFP, when we applied for the opportunity, we applied at the level that the city proposed for an event planner.
Okay.
So, and my understanding is that it was the same amount as the previous event planner for 2025. So I just want to make that clear.
Sure, but there was still some questions like, you know, should the city be paying this much for the parade? I think that's that is a point that was made, right?
That was the concern, but if you look at it, I understand that when this parade started, first of all, to your point, Gina Driscoll was very much responsible for helping to fund this initiative, right? And then it got increased from another, the way that I understand it, it was another bucket of funds for this opportunity. But in the grand scheme of things, the economic impact of this event, for it being, first of all, going into its 39th year, it is the longest running. This is historic for this nation, honestly. And even facilitating everything that goes into facilitating this, it takes money. And then on top of that, it takes sponsorship. So even that amount is not enough to run this parade. We are absolutely responsible for coming up with the difference.
All right, so and let me go back to that figure. So 700,000 over 3 years. That's accurate, right?
Exact is 230 every year, plus 125 in in-kind services. So it's the departments, the fire departments, the police, all those things there.
But you're saying you need more on top of that.
No, that's what I'm saying. We didn't say we needed anything.
Okay.
We came in and we applied as the opportunity, as the city presented the opportunity. We said, yes, we can work with this.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I wanted to make clear.
Oh, sure, yeah. But
Yes.
but I mean, as you were saying, like you still need sponsors, you still need to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And that was brought up at that same meeting. We had Trevor Mallory. He came to the podium and he spoke and he said to City Council, listen, the 230 that you graciously, supply to produce your parade. This is the city's parade because as a matter of fact, it's now named the St. Pete MLK Parade. It was never named that, before we came along. But there is a gap.
Yeah.
That can be filled with support. Even with the 4 months that we've been planning, we have been able to raise and cover the difference.
And what is the difference?
Roughly, it's about another 60 to 80,000. However, I want to be fair and say that we found ways to cut. Let me back up and say we took over a few. For example, we took over a few contracts from the previous organizer. We have found ways to cut that in the sense of presenting a same quality event, but finding ways. It's just like budgeting for a trip.
Yeah.
We want to go out and we want to market and we want to create an opportunity for like hotels and charter buses to say, hey, this is an opportunity here. Why don't we drive these prices down so that we can be more fiscally responsible? That's what this is.
Yeah. Okay. Math isn't my strong suit, but if I'm sort of adding things up correctly here, you're looking at, say, more than 400,000 if you include the kind of in-kind from fire and police and all the others for one parade, right?
Sure, but at the same time, we found a way to slash about that amount at the same time.
But it's still like a pretty massive undertaking and quite expensive.
Is it?
How are you coping? How are you feeling right now?
The first thing I had to do was that I had to adjust my schedule. I no longer became available Monday through Friday.
Right.
It was Monday through Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and the weekends. I did the things that I wanted to do. But we got the work done Monday through Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us on Florida Matters, live and local, we're talking with Samantha Harris about the St. Petersburg MLK Day Parade. It's the longest running one, coming into its 39th year. Do you know why the previous organization decided they didn't want to be part of it anymore? Like, what's the story there?
I actually have no information about that. To be completely transparent, we found out about this opportunity 3 days before it was due to the city. Yes.
So is that even enough time to put together a bid? How did that discussion go with you all?
Well, the stars aligned. My background is writing. I publish books. I'm a published author. That's what I do. That's my vein. I write grants. So I took it as a challenge. I said, hey, listen, the biggest qualification for this opportunity was that whomever applied had to have put on a very large scale community event for at least the previous 3 years consecutively. And by nature of what we do, the Tampa Bay Collard Green Festival, we had finished our 8th year. So outside of that, it was just a matter of following the directions of what they're asking for and creating a proposal that we could do and accomplish and to get a little creative with it.
Did you have some competition or?
We did have competition. Yeah, we did have competition. Apparently 6 businesses applied. 4 were either disqualified or didn't meet the minimum qualifications. And it came down to 2. It came down to the Tampa Bay Collard Green Festival and an organization that was based in another state.
Okay. I imagine for somebody from St. Pete who's kind of seen this parade year in, year out, it must feel like, okay, this is a good thing, right? We're sort of carrying this responsibility, but it is quite a big responsibility. But if you hadn't stepped up, what would the parade have looked like?
Exactly. And so that was our thought going into it with myself, like you said, being a St. Pete native. This was an event. MLK in certain communities is really celebrated as a national holiday for us. It's not just a day to just be off. It's a day to just reflect on the progress that has been made since he started, and even before then, if we were honest.
And give back, too,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. So that's what we poured into the opportunity when we applied, and that's what we're doing now.
What can people see at the parade? Is there anything different about this year compared to previous years?
So what we're going to do, we endeavor to celebrate the excellence that is required to endure tough situations. So we have branded the 45 Days of Excellence, which is like an umbrella from, it counts 45 days back from the festival, Okay. So this year it ran from January 1 to February 14th. However, so this year in particular, we have our bands. We have Tuskegee University and Alabama A&M and Talladega College, which are all historically Black colleges and universities.
Yeah.
But this year here, our first endeavor is to bring the Wendell Scott Foundation, who is showcasing an historic Wendell Scott race car honoring the legacy of the first African-American NASCAR driver and team owner to win at the sport's highest level.
Oh, wow.
Where the original race car will go through the parade.
Where can people see it? Like, where does it start? Where does it end? Where's the best spot?
Okay, the best that parade, because we also participated in years past. That parade, any spot really is a good spot, as long as you can get up to the rails. But the parade route runs west on First Avenue South, which is actually the opposite direction that it runs from 3rd Street, and it lets off at 16th Street. And 16th Street in St. Petersburg, like right at lots 1 and 2.
And what time does it start?
It starts at 11 a.m. It goes from 11 to 1. And something different to answer your question. We have sponsors. Let's go back to sponsors. So the St. Pete Free Clinic will be on site at the end of the parade route handing out just free goodies. They're going to do, not only are they going to do assessments, but they're going to hand out fresh food. We have local vendors vending at every corner. So you're going to find something to eat or something to drink while you're there. Apparently it's supposed to be a little chilly. So we'll have vendors there that are going to serve you those warm drinks, keep you warm so that you can stay excited.
Yeah. Are you going to get any sleep between now and then?
I don't think so. But that's okay. This is what I wanted. I wanted to do this. I'm glad that myself and our team, especially, that we're here, and it's countdown.
Samantha Harris is the president and co-founder of the Tampa Bay Collard Green Festival and is running this year's St. Petersburg MLK Day Parade. Samantha, thank you so much for stopping by and sharing some insights about the parade.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
And good luck for Monday.
All right.
Well, coming up next time on Florida Matters Live and Local, it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and we'll talk with a Tampa Bay native who honors King's legacy by reenacting his speeches and writing. You can tune in for that conversation Monday at noon. That's our show for today. Florida Matters executive producer is Grayson Doctor. Our producer is Amelie Harris. Our engineers are Jackson Harp and Gio Garvin. Jackson composes the music. Quincy Walters is also a producer for Florida Matters Live and Local. Natalie Jaron handled the video today. You can subscribe to Florida Matters wherever you get your podcasts and watch on WUSF's YouTube channel. I'm Matthew Petty. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you Monday.